Indiana won its second game in 3 days right here in Simon Skjodt Assembly Hall over Oregon. After knocking off Wisconsin a couple of days ago on Saturday, Lamar Wilkerson scored 41 points and knocked down 9 of his 11 threes. When it came to installing new turf right here at Memorial Stadium, many members of the Indiana coaching staff made sure that their voice was heard. None of them, however, were louder than strength and conditioning coach Derek Owings.
Indiana, Penn State. Curt Cignetti is doing it again. He's got the Hoosiers off to a 9-0 start. However, this was one of the games circled at the beginning of the season.
When Shea Chesky gets going, there's arguably nobody better than her in the entire country. She spoke after the game after scoring 10 straight points by herself at the end of the first half into the third quarter about how she likes to stay clear-minded during her hot streaks. The challenges that come with being the smallest public school in the state don't just show up on the basketball court for Cannleton. They show up in the classroom as well. Terry Morin has been all over the state of Indiana as a player and as a coach. Tonight, she was able to pick up her 450th career win. She spoke after the game about how important it was for her to not only do it against an Indiana opponent, but for an Indiana team. Indiana women's basketball closed its season out exactly how it wanted to, with a win on Senior Day. They've now won 6 of their last 8 games, which has given them a 17-13 record, good enough to qualify for the Big Ten tournament, which starts next week.
First quarter, here's Fernando Mendoza. No Elijah Surratt for the Hoosiers today. No problem. He's going to do it with his legs. He's going to run through a corner. He's going to get into the end zone. It was a slow start for the Hoosier offense, slow start for the Penn State offense as well. The backup, Ethan Grunkemeyer, looking across the middle of the field to the transfer Trevor Pena, and he's going to break a tackle. He's going to cut it to the outside. He's going to get inside the 15-yard line, and that's going to set up Nick Singleton for his first touchdown of the game. And just like that, a little drama here for Penn State. Grunkemeyer, again, to the outside. Katrin Allen struggling to get to the line of scrimmage. Ball pops out at the end. Looks like White on top of it. Penn State would challenge it, but clearly Penn State fumbling the football. Sets up Indiana into the second half. Outside to Charlie Becker, right on the inch line for Kaylin Black. Into the half, Hoosiers go up 10. And they're feeling very good. Here we go, fourth quarter, Nick Singleton. It's easy for a guy like Grunkemeyer to come in here and back up when you've got Nick Singleton. And what a block there from the referee. Let's check in on see if he got any eligibility remaining. He's going to get it down to the inch line, sets his own self up, and he's going to punch it in for the touchdown. So don't look now, folks, but Penn State's making a run at this thing. Grunkemeyer, again, to who else but Nick Singleton for his third touchdown of the ball game. And Penn State, with under 6.5 minutes to go, they've got the lead. But Fernando Mendoza, if you want to make a case for a Heisman, here's where you do it. He hits Charlie Becker, and it sets up this play on third down, throws it up top where the kids can't reach it, and Omar Cooper Jr., they say he gets a foot down. I don't know. We need to see this one again. Let's take a look. Here it is. He's got it. He's got it. Oh, come on. Touchdown. Oh, my goodness. That's about as good of a catch as you're ever going to see in any level of football. It goes to review. It's a touchdown. The Hoosiers have the lead. Fernando Mendoza making a huge case for a Heisman. I don't know. Ask this kid if you think Fernando is the best quarterback in college football. The Hoosiers would get rolling a little bit. Thanksgiving on Thursday, but how about the kid from Santa Claus? Trent Sisley with the bucket, the freshman making it hurt early on this season. Tayton Conaway getting downhill, getting to his left hand, and one. He had 19 points in this one, but he can facilitate as well. Looking for Tucker DeVries, had a slow one in this game, but come on. Cannot give him that much space.
Indiana women's basketball entered the month of February 0-10 in Big Ten play. Since then, they've won 4 of their last 6 games and have clawed their way back into the Big Ten tournament.
They kept their heads down and they kept trying to do what we were asking them to do. They've continued to show up. They never packed it in.
Despite the success in the month of February, adversity has not escaped Indiana. They're coming off an 0-2 road trip out west against USC and UCLA and battled a scoreless third quarter on Sunday against Oregon.
We had a rough third quarter as a team. A lot of emotions definitely after. I had a couple tears in the beginning. Just to be able to get a win and play play with these girls. It definitely feels surreal.
One of the most pivotal parts of this entire Indiana roster has been senior guard Shea Chesky, who was honored here today for Senior Day in Simon Scott Assembly Hall. Despite a slow first 3 quarters, she finished with 20 points, including 11 in the fourth quarter.
I definitely felt it for sure. Our fans got pretty loud, and I think that's a huge reason why we got that fourth quarter to go our way.
Chesky finished with 20 points on 6 of 15 shooting, along with 6 rebounds and 6 assists. It's the third time in the last 5 games that Chesky's had at least 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists.
We've gone to her a lot of times this season, and she's going to have to keep doing it the rest of the season too.
The Hoosiers had 4 players in double figures. One of those players was Adessa Noyan, who finished with 18 points on 7 for 11 shooting.
I just feel like I've found my place in the team. Everybody's trusting me more. I trust myself more. Everything's clicking now.
Indiana is looking to close out the month of February the same way that they started it, on a 3-game win streak. First up, they'll have Rutgers on the road on Wednesday before returning home to Simon Scott Assembly Hall for the final game of the regular season against Penn State.
I'm proud of this team. Every day has just been a challenge for sure. That's probably the biggest thing that I see with my season, what this team has done and how they affected me.
For IUS TV Sports, I've been Jet Garrett. The state of Indiana is home to the mecca of college hoops.
Way outside to Watford, 3 on the way. Oh! It went in!
But it's also home to small town dreams and small town teams. Welcome to Cannelton, home to the smallest public school in the entire state.
Good. Oh, don't dribble! You had a shot, Kobe.
We don't have the luxury of 35 kids coming out for basketball and picking and choosing the best ones. And with enrollment of 60, you just don't have the luxury of choosing.
This small high school was so determined to compete last season, they played the entire year with just 5 players. They were dubbed the Cannelton 5 by the Indy Star, but as you'd guess, it wasn't an easy road.
The Cannelton 5, we won 3 games, teams that, we just ran a score up on us because we had no bench. They come out of it, I think, stronger kids. I think they learned a lot about life and how things are going to go in life when it's stacked against you.
Despite the struggle, Coach Garrett wouldn't have had it any other way.
I had 5 kids that wanted to be at Cannelton High School and represent Cannelton High School, and I would take those 5 kids over 5 kids that thought they were too good to go to Cannelton High School.
But it didn't deter this small town or the players driven by their passion for the game.
Last season, what kept you going through that?
It was just it's the name across the chest. You're playing for Cannelton, you get to wear them, and you're with your brothers every day.
To prove that Cannelton had something, it wasn't just a small school that was near the river, that we had heart and when it came to our sports.
For most schools, a 3-20 record would be a sign for failure, but at Cannelton, it did the opposite. It signified a future. The Bulldogs added 6 new freshmen who went 15-4 last season.
They know how to win. You can't teach that.
We just brought in natural-born winners. These kids know what they're doing.
The challenges that come with being the smallest public school in the state don't just show up on the basketball court for Cannelton. They show up in the classroom as well.
You feel like you're working uphill a lot. You want to keep your enrollment going up, and sometimes, that's not easy to do.
For Coach Garrett, the message still stays the same despite the low enrollment.
We got some really great athletes here. They're even better kids. It doesn't matter where you go to school. You will get out of your schooling what you put into it.
The teachers, you get to have an actual bond with them. They actually care about you, and they care about what you do later in your life. It's good to just be heard.
And you can bet those 4 players who laid the foundation for this program will be heard on the court. Because who wouldn't want to come for revenge when they suffered 12 40-plus point losses last season?
I think they have a couple games circled on their schedule. Everybody's got that game that, hey, these guys, they've done us pretty wrong. So I think they do have a couple teams in mind that they just really want to get out and run.
No matter the size, Cannelton will always hold a special place in its natives' hearts.
I love this place. I've been here my whole life. I will never, ever leave this place. As long as I'm able to, I will have something to do with this school.
From Cannelton, Indiana, I've been Jet Garrett.
College football is all about tradition. The bands, the sunsets at the Rose Bowl, the silver helmets with Buckeye stickers, and even sayings like Hotty Toddy or Sko Ducks. But what happens when a team breaks the mold? They throw a wrinkle in that tradition. When a team that isn't supposed to be at the table pulls up a chair. Enter the Indiana Hoosiers, who are ranked number 1 for the first time in school history and the favorites to win the national championship. However, they aren't the only team looking to claim glory. 11 others are going to put everything on the line with the ultimate goal of winning the national championship. We're going to cover all 12 of those teams today, so stick around for the college football playoff edition of the Toss-Up.